Hello again. Welcome back to JDM Racing, another edition, this time in F1 22, my team. We are at Canada, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, Q1, coming up right now. Lando Norris quickest in the McLaren, then Michael Schumacher just slipping inside the top 10 with 14. So after already being very close to the cutoff in Q1, our gearbox starts to give us problems. We lose fifth gear coming into the third sector, so hopefully that's not going to cause us too much time loss as we are about to come over the line, but we'll see where it brings us out as we're struggling with this gearbox. So our pace was affected by the gearbox issue. We're just outside and get eliminated in Q2. Michael makes it through though.
We're back once again beside the St. Lawrence River here in Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. The event first moved to the variant of this track back in 1978, and it was won by none other than Gilles Villeneuve, the first Canadian to ever win his home race, and in whose honour the circuit would be renamed. It's a tricky circuit to tackle in wet conditions, with top speed still of critical importance down the long back straight. There are 2.7 miles and 14 corners overall on this circuit that in the dry can see average lap speeds of around 130 miles per hour. We'll be lucky to get anywhere near that today. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position, and a very happy Carlos Sainz will start second. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Verstappen, Russell, Sergio Perez and Norris, Ricciardo, Mick Schumacher, Gardner and Valtteri Bottas, Stroll, Ocon, Alex Albon and Hamilton, Gasly, Vettel, Guan Yu Zhou and Michael Schumacher, Magnussen, Ticktum, Latifi and Yuki Tsunoda. Which of these talented drivers will come out on top today? And joining me again for the race today, Natalie Pinkham. Let's talk about Gardner. What do you make of their performance so far this season?
Well, they've been avoiding mistakes and have had solid pace, so it's been a good season so far. But whether they can keep that up long term remains to be seen.
Right then, the formation lap has started. And I must say the weather conditions aren't the best today for visibility and for grip. As each driver performs this lap, they'll be wanting to settle in and concentrate, as this race, in these conditions, will require a lot of focus.
So fortunately for us, Hamilton gets a penalty for engine or gearbox usage over the allowance. So he gets a penalty. Michael Schumacher also getting a penalty, so our own teammate gets relegated by 10 places on the grid. We benefit from that. We're just inside the top 10 now, but it's still going to be a massive ask to get up with the Ferraris. But I mean, we're going to try. These wet weather conditions could actually play into our hands, so we'll have to see if we can make the best of it and get up and make a lot of positions early on and then put pressure on later in the race.
To keep the number of shifts to a minimum, please.
we're still being told that the gearbox is an issue even in the race. We didn't change it out, and we just take things easy into the first few corners, get a little bit more aggressive there just to see off the Haas and tuck in behind the McLarens. Replay at the start then, Leclerc on the right, Sainz on the left, the Ferraris still dominating in qualifying, so they get away and keep first and second, Leclerc leading from pole. So Ferrari look to scamper away and keep their grip on the front of the race. Rejoining on board, and we dive up the inside of both McLarens at the hairpin and then have to get on the throttle quick to try and keep in front of them. Also get on the ERS just to stave off any slipstream, and now we will pursue Russell for 5th place as we bounce over the curbs and bounce off the wall of champions, and we have picked up a little bit of damage on the front right winglet there. Once again at the hairpin, our favourite overtaking spot so far. We get past Russell and into 5th. Into lap 4 now, and we are following the Red Bull of Perez. We get all over the curbs, just keep it within the white lines and take the next position, and now we can focus forwards onto his teammate Max Verstappen in that Red Bull. So we're making good progress even with the slightly damaged wing.
A second a lap on the car behind. Really good stuff.
You'd appreciate that, Mark. There's a fastest lap for you as well. Let's get him. Into lap 6 then, and we've been sat behind Verstappen for a while just trying to line him up, and then we get into the fresh lap and take a big dive bomb down the inside at turn 1, and that gets us into 3rd, and now we can get after the Ferraris. So the same move that we used on Verstappen was good enough to use on Sainz. A fastest lap as well, and we are putting the pressure onto Leclerc now. So both Ferraris now responding. Both Ferraris posting fastest laps and trying to put the pressure back onto us in the JDM. Further around lap 12, we are getting a good run on Leclerc. We get so close to the wall of champions again, but we needed to carry the speed. We just jink out to the right, go 2 wheels on the grass into turn 1. We're a bit far behind, but now we dab on the brakes late and try and get Leclerc into turn 2, which we do. Joining Leclerc's on board then as he moves across to go take the racing line, and then just moves to the left a little bit to give us some space on the outside. It's a good racing from Leclerc there, and we just eventually get the move done, and he tries to come back at us going into the next chicane. Trying to build the gap to Leclerc, and coming to the end of the lap we get a notification that Michael is out, so that's a big blow for JDM, and we could have done without that. Joining Michael Schumacher a bit further down the field, trying to get his comeback drive going, and that's gonna stop and halt that comeback drive right there, because that is an engine failure, and Michael Schumacher is out of the Canadian Grand Prix. I'm posting fastest laps every lap. The track is drying out like crazy, but I still don't think it's worth changing onto dry tyres yet. Let's see if we can get to the end.
Absolutely fantastic. That is a brilliant, brilliant result. Well done.
Well, what a fantastic drive this has been from the JDM driver today. And he's going to cross the line for his third win of the season in front of Charles Leclerc and wins the Canadian Grand Prix for JDM Racing. Fantastic result, guys. Shame about Michael, but I mean, we did everything we could today to make sure we got the win. So this one's for him. Let's look forward to the next one.
That's it for another magnificent Canadian Grand Prix, and they've hung on to take a sublime victory here today. Natalie Pinkham, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
I think the key here was just the quality of racecraft. I mean, how many overtakes did they make overall? I'm sure we have a stat person keeping score somewhere, and it was fantastic to watch, wasn't it? This is a strategic sport, but it's always really gratifying to see close-fought battles on track. It's what all the fans are after.
The faces on our top three look so incredibly happy as they make their way up to the podium. A much-deserved victory and a brilliant performance from them all.
So we break the domination of the Ferrari with Leclerc's 3 wins, his hat-trick, and we have taken this one away from him as well. He was going for the 4, and he did come second, and that is, I believe, his 8th podium of the year. So Leclerc is definitely on championship form, so we've got to continue to perform like this if we want to beat him. Alright then, time for scores on the doors. We take the win. Charles Leclerc, in the end, took the fastest lap away from us and takes the extra point. That could be vital come the end of the season. Carlos Sainz, never quite on the pace of his teammate, but he stayed there or thereabouts. For the Red Bulls, they were 4th and 5th, a little bit further back, and George Russell 6th in the Mercedes. His teammate Lewis Hamilton couldn't get into the points in the end. He really paid the price for that engine penalty. And Ricciardo, Schumacher, Bottas and Stroll all getting decent points. So he gave something to the home fans for them to be happy about by the end of the weekend. Michael Schumacher, down at the bottom, fell victim to that engine failure. At the top of the Drivers' Championship, Charles Leclerc remains in the lead by 58 points from ourselves. And in the Constructors' Championship, Ferrari remain at the top over Mercedes by 90 points. We are 4th, closing in on Red Bull for that 3rd place. I hope you enjoyed this Canadian Grand Prix, and I hope you can join us next time for Silverstone, our home race. So thanks for watching, see you then.